Hello, guys, and welcome to episode number 5 of Holy Cow with Chase and Greg. I'm Chase, I'm Greg, and it's Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and it's the best Tuesday morning because minor league baseball is back.
Yay.
Took the whole year off. They had all year, and so we're back, and we thought it would be fun to celebrate, and we've got our buddy Kohl Franklin. How's it going, Cole?
What's up, guys? How are you guys?
We are doing great, man. Enjoying the time. It's finally time for dollar beers, and that's what we're excited about. Thirsty Thursdays is the best thing. They've got this White Claw Wednesday in Tulsa, so people are excited. Tickets are like that's the best thing. I love minor league sports. I love minor league baseball. I think it's great. So thanks for coming on the show, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
So Kohl is an Oklahoma native like me, so he's strong. He's just a genuine badass at most things that he does. He's butter. So we were like, man, let's have him on. It'll be a lot of fun. We were going to have him last week, but schedules got flip-flopped or whatever. So this is definitely a comeback season for everybody. You had some injury issues, right?
I did. No, sorry.
You didn't? Okay, no. So sorry, scratch that. He had no injury issues, guys. He's 100%. The Bleacher Nation guys, don't lump people in, okay? So he's out. He's still out in Mesa right now. We should be seeing Greg. Might be seeing him a little bit more often if he ends up in South Bend. We would really like him in Iowa because I could see him in Oklahoma City. So that would be cool. But so did you feel like last season without having a season at all? How do you adjust to that?
I think it was you put a lot of responsibility on yourself, and that's when you kind of like the ball's in your court to get better, and it's not forced down your throat, and it's kind of like to see how bad you really want it. And so I really enjoyed kind of learning more about myself, about kind of my work ethic, and being able to kind of do everything on my own. But overall, I think I was really happy with last year, even though we didn't get to play a season, with how I progressed as a baseball player and as a person. And so I'm kind of thankful for that time. But overall, I mean, I always wish we played. But then again, there's pros and cons.
Right. Did you think at any point with baseball coming back there in July that you guys had a shot, or was it pretty well? Did you know that you weren't going to have a season last season?
For a while, we thought we were going to be able to play at least maybe a little bit. But then, as time went on, it slowly just kind of our chances went downhill. So it was tough.
Man, that was one of the things that's kind of been one of the traditions with my family and stuff is to always go to the minor league games. Like we lived in Dallas and Tulsa and stuff like that. We'd go to Rangers games and any games that, any chance we made it up to Chicago, we went to Wrigley. But the minor league teams, they're the heart and soul of a lot of communities. And so now they've got teams that have been moved around that aren't even affiliated or anything. It's like you were saying before, this could be kind of a shot for the indie guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Like you were saying about small communities being brought together. Like a lot of minor league ballparks are kind of like in remote locations that kind of really help, the city and everything. And so I really enjoyed last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. I played in Eugene, Oregon. And so, I mean, I feel like Oregon's not really known for a baseball town. And kind of getting out there and seeing all the baseball fans out there was an unbelievable experience and kind of bringing life to, when University of Oregon's not playing.
Right. Did you have a host family there?
No, sorry. We stayed in team hotels.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. See, because I know some of those towns, they have that might be more indie ball or whatever. Like they have host families and things like that. And that builds fans for life.
Yes, I 100% agree.
And it's like, I mean, you're the Broken Arrow kid. You've been to Drillers games. The people in town, they worship guys like Cody Bellinger and Troy Tulowitzki and those guys that kind of come up in that system, and you get to see what's coming for the team. And a lot of guys get, there's a lot of guys that you see. And next year, it's like, watch out for that guy. He was great. And so minor league ball is it's a big thing. And I know that they've kind of changed some things. So is there any other teams out there right now? There's always that shot that you might end up at South Bend or anything like that. South Bend also has the what is it? The Cubs kind of what are they calling the team right now? That's the transitional team.
Oh, the alternate site team.
Yeah, the alternate site team. So how is
Yeah.
that going to work with you guys?
I think
So
they just shut it down now. What I thought I read. They're no longer going to be doing transitional up there.
Or are they not?
yeah,
I'm not
so
sure.
it was like when when normal minor league baseball starts, it was basically like the AAA
Okay.
guys up there, and so like while no one was at South Bend, the AAA like alternate Texas team was up there playing.
Yeah.
But once
Taxi team.
everybody flew in there to start the season, then kind of like everyone went to like AAA and wherever they were going to start.
Right. I mean, I know the end goal is to move up and to continue to perform well, but I mean, right off the bat for the season, what are the things that you're wanting to work on? Because you're talked a lot about in that Cubs organization as one of the up and comers, the young guys.
Absolutely, yes, sir. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is staying healthy. Definitely. Being more consistent with my curveball, and kind of, go straight to hitters more, kind of not really give them too much credit. And then at the end of the day, just give my team the best chance to win.
Right. Well, I think that you've got the stuff to do that. I mean, all through like as beginning of the season's been going on, we've been seeing the old Kohl Franklin name coming out. You've got an obvious shirt that says ice cold, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so there's a lot of faith there. And that guy, we had him on, and he told us, he wore the shirt. Jake Arrieta was lights out. The brand took off. So I think that's a good sign for you with the ice cold. I think maybe he's that kind of Cubs whisperer for you.
I like to hear that. No, he's a great guy.
Right. So are the do you think the expectations are higher now that COVID's gone? Like, I mean, what do you think? How do you think this season's going to be? It's really a comeback story for everybody. Baseball is back. Minor league baseball is back. It's kind of the end of the pandemic. Where do you see this going for you guys?
I honestly, yes, I do believe that it's going to be a really big season, but I don't like kind of putting unneeded pressure on myself, and so I kind of just roll out there. I just enjoy playing the game. I just have fun with it, and so I never really think about outside things. I just kind of think about things I can control, and so I don't really like I said, put the outside pressure on myself. So I don't ever look at it as
right,
comeback season or anything. It's just another game to me.
Hey, you gotta stay relaxed. There's a ton of games.
Absolutely.
I mean, you watch those guys, and I'm sure that you read a lot of stuff online and stuff like that. I mean, people are panicking, hitting the panic button with the Cubs right now and where they're at on the big league side of things. But we won't get into that today. We're trying to be positive and uplifting. We'll get into that after the commercial read. Get Cole out of here. But what are the things outside of? I know you want to pitch every day that you get to pitch. What are the things that you're really looking forward to getting back into baseball? I mean, there's got to be some things that you do to kind of relieve stress, when you're on the road. What are the things that you're looking forward to being like, oh, man, this is going to be as normal of a life of a ball player that you have? What's that one thing that you missed out on?
I would say there's definitely a couple, and number one is the fans. I mean, you miss having that that culture, that Cubs culture that trickles down the whole through the whole organization. So that's definitely the biggest thing, is just playing in front of people, and also I would say is having that teammate feeling again. Since
right.
You didn't miss out on a whole year and not really getting to hang out with your guys, hang out with your teammates, get to know each and every one of them more, and so that's a big thing that I really enjoy, and so it'll be good to get back to.
Right. Greg, Greg is actually a very big ballpark enthusiast. He goes to a bunch of ballparks throughout the season. He actually went and did Grapefruit and Cactus League. That's how much of a ball fan he is. He flew out to Phoenix, did what was it, 6 days you did in Phoenix, Greg?
Got there on a Sunday and left on Thursday, so it was a little abbreviated this year.
And then you left again on a Sunday, right, to Florida?
Flew back on a Thursday night, flew out Friday, and ended up in Bradenton and saw the Pirates. I think four,
So,
ga- 4 games of the Pirates and I think 2 games of the Blue Jays there in today.
so being a minor league guy, what are some ballparks that you would tell Greg that you need to put on that list?
Are you talking like overall, like minor league parks?
Yeah, minor league parks that you've been to that you would say, if I was a fan or if I knew somebody that was looking for something unique, where would you send him?
So Hillsboro and Oregon, the Hops, which I think is the Diamondbacks, was an unbelievable field. Also, Vancouver was an awesome field. You've probably been to Fort Wayne.
Yeah,
That field's unreal.
they built that about 15 years ago. But one they replaced. They used to be the Fort Wayne Wizards, and then they built this new ballpark, and they're now known as Kick Apple. The legend is Johnny Appleseed was from Fort Wayne. It's kind of a neat. So we don't know how historical it is, but it's a beautiful ballpark. It's really one of my most favorite ballparks to go to. It's kid friendly. It's fan friendly. It's just I guess my only disappointment. I think they're a farm team for the Diamondbacks, which I'd rather see someone in the Midwest, Cubs, Reds, even White Sox. I mean, I'd go just to boo the White Sox, but nonetheless, it really is. It's a nice ballpark. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
What visiting ballpark have you been to that has the best hecklers?
Man, Boise, Idaho was pretty bad. That's the Rockies. That's the Rockies, yeah.
Okay.
So that was a pretty bad one. Vancouver, they'll get on you too. Vancouver was pretty crazy. I mean, they were just relentless. But I'd say definitely those are the top two for sure.
Man, I'll tell you the worst stadium that I think I ever went to was before they built Bricktown in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
The old Oklahoma City 89ers field.
Okay.
It smelled like what everybody's uncle that lives in a van would smell like. Like they just like had them all living there. It just reeked of BO, cheap beer, and for some reason cat piss. And you're just like, why? It was
what a great combination there.
Yeah. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it was like it was so weird. And then there was a spot out in East Texas that was a collegiate league, summer league, and they were a high school field that somehow had a weird liquor license where they could serve beer. And they had a big wheel they would spin, and it had the roster for the team, the visiting team, and they would do like their number on there. And what that number, if that dude struck out, it was like dollar beer for the next like half inning.
Yeah, the beer batter. We had that in Eugene.
I felt so bad for a 20-year-old college kid and how depressed he had to be because they were cheering for his failure probably more than he'll ever be cheered for his success in his life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. That's how he became the fan favorite pretty fast in Eugene is you strike out the beer batter.
Yeah. And then the beer batter, he probably became a big fan if he struck out a lot.
No, exactly. Absolutely.
That was probably my most favorite thing about the minors is that the promotions, the opportunities for fans to win stuff, for kids to get on the field. We lose that in the majors, and I understand that. I mean, it's a different, no pun intended, but it's a different ball game. But it is really fun. I retired as a fourth grade teacher last year. I would take my fourth graders either to Fort Wayne or South Bend, or we went to Wrigley several years, Cincinnati, Indianapolis to see the Indians. We even went to Louisville to the Bat Factory, and then stayed and watched a Bats game. And even kids that I taught that really had no interest in baseball enjoyed it because there were things for them to do and play, and they didn't have to just sit in a seat and watch a game for 9 innings.
Yeah, I
I've
agree.
always been a fan of the minor, and if I lived a little closer, either Fort Wayne or South Bend, I'm an hour and a half away from both. I just might have a summer job there. If it wasn't selling beer or hot dogs, I'd be doing something.
I think they do have the best promotions, Greg. You're right. I remember back in 2013, the Florence Freedom, which was in the Frontier League, they did the Manti Te'o girlfriend bobblehead night when Manti Te'o got busted with not having the girlfriend, and it's an empty box. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really good giveaway. I think a lot of those things like that are hilarious.
Some of them skate on borderline decency, but
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What's the
still fun.
what's the coolest one you've seen?
So I don't know, man. We've had a lot. I would say so. There's a thing called I forgot what it's called in Eugene, but it's like where you have to make like a cheeseburger, but like there's a person that's the bottom bun and a person that's stacking everything on top and then just like jumps on them at the end.
That sounds fun.
Like body slamming somebody else.
Yeah, they do that in either Fort Wayne or South Bend, and I mean they've got this big piece of cheese, they've got a big piece of lettuce, tomato, and I mean I was watching one time and they were trying to sabotage each other to keep the other from winning. I'm thinking this is going to evolve into a fist fight here if they don't stop it. It was fun to watch because then the last person, the other bud, they just right on top of each other.
Mine was that, or I forgot there was a like the blow up like boxing gloves.
Yeah,
they had like a boxing match, and that was hilarious.
That can get rough.
No, yeah, absolutely.
When Rugnet Odor punched Jose Bautista, I mean, and that was that the punch heard around the world.
Yeah.
Frisco Rough Riders, which is the AA for the Rangers, they had a Rugi punch that was like super strong alcohol and Red Bull that they sold for like 2 weeks until they had somebody that just got like too many of them. And you were supposed to only be limited 2 to a person, but I feel like minor league employees, they're great, but you get like a young kid that's working at that thing, he's not going to care how many he sells. So that was a real short-lived promo.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was like called like Rugned's, I think it's called Odor's Punch. It had like 2 or 3 different vodkas and then Red Bull in it. That way you could stay pumped up. But I like the jerseys that you guys get to do. I think those are a lot of fun. Like the Iron Pigs do the bacon sundae with the bacon. Have you had any fun ones that you're like, man, I really enjoy? I enjoyed that one.
We had the Black Panther jerseys in Eugene, and it was like the chest plate of the Black Panther, and I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Like the Fresno team, I think they did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over like a certain series of them or whatever. But those things, if you can get one and resell them online, are crazy. Like somebody had a set of the Fresno ones that they sold for, I think it was like $2 or $3 grand.
Yeah. So what we'd do with ours is we'd auction them off after the game, and it's like people would bid on them, during the game, and then come like on the field, take a picture with us and everything. We go give them our jersey.
See, I always thought like Tulsa always has really good. We always end up with really good people to sing the Star Spangled Banner. But most places end up with like, and this is Chad. He's a 5th grader. And then Tulsa's like, please remove your hats while Hanson sings the national anthem. Like they sang the World Series in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember they did a World Series and now they're singing a minor league one.
AA baseball in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, they had Tim McGraw one year. The girl that's from Broken Arrow, that's like the Broadway singer, Chenoweth.
I don't know. You got me there.
I can't remember. Like she's out there all the time. I'm like, man, for a minor league ballpark, we would get really, really badass singers.
Then again, there's a lot of like famous like singers from Tulsa
Yeah.
that live there.
Yeah, like Garth Brooks just sold his place from Owasso.
Yeah, then who is it? Blake Shelton and Gwen
Gwen-
Stefani?
Yeah, they're down in like the Ada area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of famous people from Oklahoma. Kohl Franklin, Chase Almy. I mean, we're joining the ranks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dallas Keuchel. He's a famous one. Who else?
Archie Bradley, Dylan Bundy.
Yeah, and I'm thinking older too. He was on the Dodgers. Matt Kemp.
Brad Penny, Matt Kemp.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good Warren Spahn, Mickey Mantle. I mean, going way back.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, we were bred for baseball.
Exactly.
Some of us to play, some of us to talk about the way other people's play. So, dude, Cole, thanks for coming on the show. I cannot wait to get my custom bobblehead. Chris, I'm waiting for it and put it up on the old shelf. Hopefully we can split a pie one day over at the Savastanos.
Absolutely.
So, that's that. They love you over there. You're like, I think they want to change your last name to Savastano.
They're great people, man. I really enjoy them.
Right. Yeah. They were like, oh, man, like, because I'm in that Cubs fans in Oklahoma. So you were constantly talked about in that. So good luck on the season. I know you don't know where you're going quite yet. Be on the lookout. Things keep going the way they are. You could get that September call up.
Who knows?
So, man, I think this is a good time. We'll get you out of here. Go and enjoy Mesa, Arizona while you can. Enjoy the weather before. Is it getting too hot there yet? Is it?
It's every now and then. Every other day is pretty hot, but right now it feels great.
Right. Yeah. It looks like you're hanging out on the balcony.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, man, have fun, guys. This interview brought to you by our guys at Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is your #1 fantasy sports place to play every day. It's simple, fun, and easy to play. Users determine which superstars competing in the day's professional sporting events will record more or less than the contest line provided. Monkey Knife Fight's daily fantasy prop games play similar to the salary cap DFS games, but without the algorithms, lineups, and most importantly, sharks. There are several contests to choose from, none of which require hours of research required on competing sites. Start with a simple 2-2 or go for the highest payouts, which can be 100 times and higher by selecting an 8-8 more or less contest. Get started now with a 100% instant match bonus up to $100 right now with the promo code HOLYCOW. Well, Cole, thanks for being on the show. It was a lot of fun, Greg. I enjoy him.
Absolutely.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely. Look
Now
forward
we
to
can
seeing
get
the season.
yes, and now we can get into the meat and potatoes of what is wrong with the Cubs. I can think of a whole lot. We'll cover it. This is the first show of May, and everybody, the optimists are, May will come around. May will come around, and what's come around is that you can score 12 runs as the Cubs and still lose.
That drives me nuts.
Yes.
You can play 25 games, score 12 runs in each game, and you're going to win 20, 22 of them. But not yesterday, which I know it was interesting that, like I've said in previous shows, I read Chicago Tribune, the Cincinnati Enquirer. I read 4 or 5 different newspaper baseball beats, and there was an interesting article on there today for Cincinnati that now all of a sudden is Great American Ballpark hurting or helping the Reds? And I'm thinking, you know what? It's a bandbox. I mean, I've always kind of thought people talk about Wrigley being the home run heaven of the entire National League. Maybe 25, 30 years ago, it might have been, because you still have the old multi-purpose Riverfront Stadium, Three Rivers, the original Busch Stadium, and you didn't hit a lot of home runs in those ballparks. And now that we've we've built PNC and we've built Coors Field and some of these other smaller ballparks. There's more home runs, man. That's why I'm kind of chuckling about how we want to tinker around with the height of the mound, pitcher's mound, because we're not getting enough runs. I'm thinking, watch yesterday's game, boys and girls. I mean, seriously, what would yesterday's game have been with an altered mound? 40-some to 28?
I mean, these games are getting out of control.
Absolutely. Why would you want to be a pitcher?
Right. I mean, Cole, Cole is in that weird position where, man, this is going to be hard to pitch. You don't have Garrett Cole. You don't have Clayton Kershaw. These guys, things are starting to change, and they're trying to do. They swear the balls were juiced or whatever, and they came back to basically say they moved to a different factory and they were just making the baseballs too damn good. Like that was the problem.
A little bit too tight.
Yeah, the lacing was actually going into the ball, causing it to be more of a sphere. B is for baseball class that you used to teach, Greg, talking about, the different and the way that the ball travels through the air and things like that. So now they're trying to get away from that. And so you would think the harder pitchers are throwing, the more strike. We do have more strikeouts, but the change in focus on – which I don't know if that's really the case this season. I know there's been quite a few home runs, but I've noticed a lot more small ball.
Yeah.
I feel like I've noticed more guys showing bunt and actually bunting than I remember in the last full season of baseball.
I was going to say it's been a while. I remember growing up in the 70s and watching the Cincinnati Reds, and they were the masters of, playing for the one run.
Right.
And they have the pitching staff that they can make that one run hold up.
Well, and that's the thing is maybe Chicago needs to think about playing for the one run, because since the last time we've seen you guys, they got shut out twice against the Braves, giving up 5 on Tuesday night's game and 10 on Wednesday night's game. Shut out. I don't know.
I mean, the Braves slapped the Cubs around like a stepchild. I mean, it was just like a battered stepchild.
Yeah.
And,
and here we are. I get it. Freddie and Rizzo, that's going to be the storyline this season. They're the cool thing, the whole chasing him down and calling him Frederick. Yeah, I got it. And then he pitches against him. Okay, so we're going to celebrate Rizzo having the best ERA in the history of baseball.
That should not be the big story coming out of that Braves Cubs series.
And there's a lot of fans who were mad because they're celebrating it.
I just in years past, I mean, there might be one, maybe 2 pitchers I'd see come out of the bullpen, and I'm thinking, oh, we're in trouble. Now it doesn't seem to matter who comes out of the bullpen. I mean, even Kimbrel. I mean, Kimbrel's done, I think, well this season.
Yes.
Overall, he really yesterday he didn't. But you know what? It can't just be him and no one else.
Right.
I never thought I'd ever say this in my lifetime, but I'm ready for Pedro Strop to go back out there. He can't be any worse.
Well, and that's the thing now. Pedro Strop is back in the Dominican Republic for some family issue going on, personal issue that he's got going on. So we don't even have right, and that's the thing is the Yu Darvish trade. What are we getting? And now there's talks of if everything keeps going like this by the end of the month, Bryant will be gone.
Yeah.
They think the Phillies.
I've got some real concerns in the next 2 months because something just tells me that we're going to win some. We'll have a couple 2, maybe 3 game win streaks. We're not going to win 5 or 6 in a row. Not
right.
We've got. I mean, if we even have a win streak of any consequence at all, it's going to be because the bats have gotten extremely hot. And
Yeah.
again, you score 12 runs in a game, you're going to win a lot of ball games. But it just seems like every time, we'd score a run, we'd throw gasoline on the fire that was the Reds. And I mean, again, I don't want to piss off my friends that are Cincinnati fans, but that's not a real good ball team. We're going to see a good ball team tomorrow and Wednesday at Wrigley. The Dodgers are a good ball team. The Reds are mediocre. I mean, they're not even going. I don't think they're going to end up being the class of our division. It's going to be a 2-team horse race, I'm afraid, between the Cardinals and the Brewers. Hate them both, and whoever they get to the playoffs, I'll root for whoever plays against them because I'm petty and vindictive like that. But I just think it's going to be a long summer on the north side of Chicago. But we'll see. Next week, they play 2 in Cleveland. They play 3 in Detroit. I've got tickets for all 5. First road trip of the season. So I'm hoping I can bring some luck, and we'll see what happens.
Old style beer, get back to us. Get Greg on the road.
The weather hopefully will cooperate, and we won't have any rainouts. But when you're old and retired, what else you have to do?
Hey,
so
well, I know you said you don't want to piss off your Cincinnati fan, Fritz.
No.
Well, let me go ahead and do that right now. Amir Garrett, you are the dumbest.
Yeah.
Just dumpster. You're cheering for striking out somebody with a 191 batting average.
Yeah,
you look dumb. You're out there talking to yourself like it's freaking WWE SmackDown. Just shut up and pitch.
It's not October. We're not in playoff baseball yet. But I guess when you've really got nothing of consequence to celebrate for an entire season so far,
right?
You pick things like that. And
Baez, I'm glad you got out there. You got after Rizzo for us. Rizzo's having, the season. He probably won't be here much longer. I get it. I got it. Enjoy what you can. But, dude, I mean, you struck him out. They're swinging at everything. There's nothing going on, offensively. And you're over here acting like you just struck out Mike Trout, who's having the best season of his career. Chris Bryant's having that. I mean, it's just.
And I had to laugh that, the manager of the Reds, whatever his name is, well, I really don't know what the big deal was. Why were the Cubs mad? Well, did you watch the same game that I did?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that if you weren't the opposing team or the opposing manager in the other dugout, that wouldn't piss you off either, because it would.
Right.
Most professional athletes, they've got a lot of pride in what they do and pride in their team. And when you feel that you're being shown up, or that was just bush league.
Baez called it garbage. I mean, he called it exactly what it is. Yeah. Get out there, strike somebody out that's doing something. I know, and I love Tony. I think Rizzo's great. He's got a 222 batting average right now over the season. He's been in a slump for the past 15 days, for the past 7-8 games. It's what's bothering me about the season so far is that the top 3 leaders in the Cubs last year in batting are right now the last 3.
Yeah.
Jason Hayward hasn't shown up. Chris Bryant is leaps. I mean, he's doing better than he did last season.
But he's still woefully short of what we've come to expect from him over the last several years.
Right. I mean, if you look at it right now, he's got he's sitting at the top right now. He's got a 323 batting average, 405 on base percentage, 708 slugging. His OPS is 1.114. I mean, those are leading. I mean, those are top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything with it. And you got an offense who's just feeling completely just dejected problem. I don't know how they feel. They're sitting around smiling about striking out Freddie freaking Freeman, but you've got to know down, and you have a pitching staff who they're not talking about at all. They're talking about the offense. Well, you know what? The offense can show up with 3 or 4 runs, and that used to be able to win you a ball game if you had a pitching staff. But right now you're having to throw, 12 runs isn't even enough to beat the Reds.
I don't know. Things just seem to be going from bad to worse for us.
Yes.
And I hope that I'm wrong, but I just have a bad feeling for the next couple of weeks.
Man, and I got you. We've got this right now that, as we're recording this, we find out early, right before we go on to record, the game for Monday night's been canceled. It's now a 7-inning doubleheader games today while you're watching it against the reigning champs of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers are now a half game back of the San Francisco Giants out there in the NL West, but they have the best run differential in MLB right now, but they're actually a half game out of first, and they've lost their last 7 of their last 10 games.
That's just not normal for them. It just isn't.
Yeah. They lost 3 out of the 4 against the Brewers and the Reds. They lost 2 out of 3 on that. So they lost those series. Now they're coming to Chicago, but here is the big issue. Listen to these pitching matchups and tell me how you feel, Greg. Game 1, Kyle Hendricks versus Walker Buehler. Game 2 for tomorrow will be Albert Alzolay, I always mess that name up, and Clayton Kershaw. Then to finish up that rubber match there on Wednesday, Jake Arrieta versus Trevor Bauer. You're getting, cream of the crop.
Yeah, we're not skirting by the Dodgers pitching staff this time around. But,
right.
No, who knows? We may win 2 or 3.
You've got to play the odds. They've
they could very easily get swept the next 2 days with what's on the mound, but because Hendricks, he's just not been Hendricks the last couple starts.
No,
and Arrieta, I can't say that I was super impressed with his last start.
No,
okay.
But to be honest, though, that's been his worst.
Yeah, true.
For the season. Kyle Hendricks, you're a former teacher. You understand physics a bit. You can't miss with an 81-mile-an-hour fastball.
No.
When you're out there throwing batting practice, it seems like you can't miss. He doesn't have the command. He doesn't have those secondary pitchers. He's the professor. He doesn't have what he had in years past that kind of made him.
Well, and, I'll even go back to beginning of the season, off season. The 3 pitchers we had last year, him, Darvish, and oh gosh, I'm old. We traded out. We let him go.
You Darvish.
Lester.
Oh, Lester.
Between Lester, Darvish, and I would have kept those 2.
Yeah. And what we got back wasn't that great.
Oh, that's. I guess maybe I just haven't looked hard enough, but I'm not sure why we Lester wanted to come back. Unless there was some secret. I don't think Darvish was demanding to be traded either.
No.
And I'm just like, did we just trade these guys just to trade, or I mean, I did. And again, don't get, I mean, I'm not an anti Hendricks fan, but of the three, he, to me, he's the third, he would have been my third option. But again, I'm not a lifelong baseball executive, so I'm sure there's more to the equation than what I know. But it's really, I feel like my point's being proven already. You know,
Well, and you know where we're at right now with the whole situation. I mean, and this is being in the South and watching it from. I mean, it seems like the Cubs are going the way of the Bears. It seems like there's this whole idea of this approach of fans are wanting to know what they're doing, and we're all just kind of like using these words and this you'll see it when you see it, and it's like, well, we see it right now that there's not a plan, and I'm scared that when Hoyer took over for Epstein, he never replaced himself.
yeah.
There is no GM. There's a president of baseball operations. There's no GM. Are we going that route now? That's going to kind of resemble more of a Dallas Cowboys. I know Jerry Jones owns it. Hoyer doesn't own nothing right now. He doesn't own a winning record. He doesn't own a team on a ball field that can do anything right now. But are they going that route where they've got a one-man band kind of doing what it is that they want? It's not working, whatever it is. Maybe that's part of the deal. Maybe we're in a tank of a season and we don't want to talk about it.
And I mean, I've seen it in print more than once that, the statement's been made almost every single, well, it really doesn't matter how we finish because Cub fans are loyal to Wrigley Field and they're going to show up win or lose. Well, this fan's not going to show up if I don't feel that there's an honest effort out. I mean, I'm going next week for 5 games, but I'll tell you what, I mean, if I don't feel that they're even willing to put a legitimate product on the field, I can go watch somebody else play. I mean, that's not, I guess I don't want it to sound like, oh, well, I'm transferring loyalty, but, I think there's a limit to the loyalty that most Cub fans have. And there's an entire generation of Cub fans that have really never seen what I call tough times. I think back to the 70s when I'd tune in WGN and Jack Brickhouse was all excited because, hey, we've got so many people here today. We're opening up the upper deck. First time the upper deck's been open in 2 or 3 weeks. And, you'd say that today and people would go, what? What do you mean opening up the upper deck? Back right. Then, I mean, I still remember before, 1984 changed a lot of things, not necessarily for the best, but I still remember, once I came up here in 1981, that I'd always take 1-2 personal days every year, and I'd go up in the fall and I'd go up in the spring on a Friday, usually watch Cubs play. And I remember, I don't know what year, I'd have to look at the ticket stub, but it was between 81 and 84. Went up with a buddy. It was September, and they were already obviously out of the hunt. We went to the box office that day, and we got tickets right behind the Cubs dugout, 4 or 5 rows behind it that day.
Yeah.
And we didn't pay 3 figures to get those seats.
No.
And, is that what we want to go back to? I mean,
and that's what everybody's saying, we're loyal fans because we're so used to it. But I don't want to think about this being another 2011, when everything just went to crap.
I'm too old to wait for another 10, 15 year rebuild. I mean,
right.
I look at the Pirates, and God bless those fans. I mean, they wait every year, and they've got, which I'm almost beginning to put the two owners, Cubs and Pirates, in the same boat. The Pirates are just too damn cheap.
Yep.
To really put their money behind and say, hey, we are going to have a winner. They continue to stick marginal prospects out there. Oh, well, let's win a few games. Let's keep them somewhat happy. And I still say it's going to be between the Cubs and the Pirates for the bottom of the NL Central basement this year. I hope I'm wrong, but that's been the reality of a Pirates fan since the 1970s, 1980s.
Right.
And that was our reality for so many years. And we finally got away from that. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, money solves all issues, but
money solves all issues on a baseball field.
Someone really is going to have to sit down and explain to me the reasoning behind who we kept and who we traded or allowed to go away on our pitching staff from last season this year, because I'm not understanding it at all.
I'm hopeful.
The results are proving it.
Right. And I'm hopeful that it's one of those things that come next year in August, next season, that we're saying, oh, wow, they knew what they were doing. They did this, they did that. I'm hopeful. Here's what I'm looking forward to. I know when you hear those names, Kershaw and Bauer, I'm really looking forward to Wednesday's game. I'm looking forward to that Jake Arrieta, Trevor Bauer. I love Trevor Bauer for social media purposes. I think the whole thing that he's got with him and his agent and how that whole thing works, I think is great. But I really just want to watch Bauer get dominated by Arrieta. I want old school Jake Arrieta to come out, that Jake Arrieta that we're used to. I honestly think, though, if we want to see something, because that the game against Kershaw, Alzolay, I think that's going to be pretty cool because Kershaw 2.09 ERA, 5 walks, 39 strikeouts through 6 starts. He's looking good. But even Alzolay, he's looked pretty good over the past couple of starts. He's hung in there. So if you look at it by the numbers, we're kind of off. The run differential for the Cubs is 23rd in the league with a -14. The Dodgers, they're at a +45. They've got the best. Right now, runs scored per game, 4.61. They're 14th in the league. Dodgers, 5.1 runs per game. They're sitting at third. I think that right there is kind of where it's at. The issue is the runs allowed per game. Cubs is 5.11 runs allowed per game. It's 25th in the league. The fact that there's people that are allowing more is just a miracle. The Dodgers sitting at 3, basically 3.5 runs, 3.55, which they're the third in there. But over the last 10 games, they've lost 7. Is that going to be a trend that sticks around? I hope so, at least through Wednesday. So, they are playing the 2 shortened games, which kind of scares me too, because lately, since that whole game where they just put it on the Braves, runs have been coming later in the game. It's like if you watch Sunday's game, they start off with 1 or 2 runs there, but it seems like they keep coming back a little bit later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those 7 innings, you're losing 2. We've got to figure something out. I really do think they could have pulled Sunday's game out had we not had the stupid rule of putting someone on second.
Yeah.
I mean, Rossi got ballsy, put a double steal on there in the 10th inning trying to get something done. Arrieta struck out. Arrieta came in as a pinch runner because Ian Happ got hurt, which who knows what his situation is going to be. He's still questionable. Nobody really knows. Got carted off after he had a collision. So that put everybody into that predicament where now we're having to pinch hit a pitcher. I mean, everybody went through. I believe once Jake Arrieta came in, and I can't even remember the pitcher that faced him. They were like the 37th and 38th player of that game to come in. I mean, they just went through players like nobody's business. I think it could be good right now that actually happened with the rain out for the Monday night game, because that gives everybody at least an extra day of rest.
Yeah.
That lets the Hap situation be examined. Jock Peterson has now been activated and back with the team. Who knows if he's going to play? Wilson Contreras still kind of in that little toss up there, and Javi Baez on what's happening. Baez is back in. It's quite a season that's going to be interesting to watch. Right now, predicted lineups: Wilson Contreras, Anthony Rizzo, Nico Horner, David Bodie or Matt Duffy there on that third base, Javi Baez, Chris Bryant out in the outfield, Jake Marisnik, and Jason Hayward. That Jason Hayward thing's really bothering me. I'm hoping that maybe with Jock being back, that might cause some differences in the outfield. Also, Los Angeles Dodgers, they've got Will Smith there, Max Muncy, Gavin Lux, Justin Turner, Corey Seager, AJ Pollock, Chris Taylor, Mookie Betts. This will be the first time that Jock Peterson sees his old team. I think that'll be interesting to watch as well. Gavin Lux.
And I think I just saw this afternoon tonight that rookie redhead they've got, he's going to have he's done. He's I just saw him on ESPN or whatever within the last week. He's having Tommy John surgery.
Oh yeah, the pitcher.
But he's looked good the times I've seen him.
Dustin May, yeah.
Yeah. That's not going to help them at all.
No.
But I don't have a good feeling about this series. I hope I'm wrong, but a positive, I think, though. I mean, and again, I'm still a big believer you play who you play, and it doesn't matter who you play or when you play them. But the next couple of weeks, it does get a little bit better. We've got Pittsburgh back in here for 3 this weekend, 2 at Cleveland, 3 at Detroit, 4 at home against Washington. If we're going to do anything this season, we've got that stretch of 5, 8, 12 games there. We've got to do something. And I'm not just saying go 6-6. We need to go 10-2, whatever. Because
you win that little 2-game series with Cleveland, you win that. You win the. You win
it. The Tigers, maybe.
Right.
Win 3 of 4 against Washington, because the 21st, then we go on a 6-game road trip, and we're in St. Louis for the first time, and we all know how tough those games are.
Right.
And then the Reds come back, and I know San Diego isn't off to the best start either, but you've got the Reds and the Padres the end of May into the 1st of June. So we'll see what happens.
Right. And I think if you can win the 2 games against Cleveland, you can at least win the series with Detroit. I really think they've got a good chance against Burley and Bauer in this Los Angeles series. I think that those are the 2 games that they should really be looking at, that they can really come in and do something. I think Kershaw, it's always nice if you can win against Kershaw, but it's kind of one of those things where it's going to be pretty damn tough to do.
Right. And it's not like you're going to be the only one that loses against him.
Right. So I think if they can do that, we can see a bounce back into what's going on. I think the Cincinnati dumpster fire is going to continue. They're cocky. I love watching them lose because they are cocky, and they have absolutely nothing to really be cocky about. You scored 13 runs against a team that's giving up what was the stat that I threw out just a few minutes ago? They're 20. Yeah. They're runs scored per game. They're at 4.61, but they're allowing 5.11 runs a game. So basically 5 runs a game, you're guaranteed against the Cubs right now on an average. It's crazy. What we don't need to see is we don't need to see any more shutouts. We've got to get patient at the plate. They know they can throw whatever they want to the outside corner in that right-handed batter's box, and Jason Hayward will step on home plate to try to hit that ball because he wants to hit. He wants to get out of this rut. Just be patient. Do something to get on base. That's what we need, because you do have players like Chris Bryant who are on fire. It's not like we're sitting here with bad stuff. 323, 245, 238, 222. You've got Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras, Anthony Rizzo right now. They have Jake Marisnick. He's sitting 261. I mean, you've got guys, Matt Duffy, 273. Those aren't bad deals. Nico Horner, he needs to be here every day. Right now, he's batting 389.
He is playing very well right now.
Yes. Keep that momentum going.
Absolutely. Keep him in the lineup. Find somewhere to make sure that he's in every game.
But you can't have Chris Bryant just sitting on second every game, waiting for somebody to bring him back his helmet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, we're hoping for the best. We want to thank Monkey Knife Fight. We want to thank Obvious Shirts. Once again, here they are, Obvious Shirts. There's a great guy, Joe, over there. Hit him up, obviousshirts.com. Use our promo code HOLYCOW5. Get you $5 off your shirt. That is the shirt that I'm wearing right now, guys. I'm still giving one out to people. Just like our stuff on Instagram. Go like our page, or go like our profile. Follow us. Like the pictures. I'm going to throw a picture up there this week. Comment, tag a friend. Let's get ourselves up to at least 100. That's weird that we're having to ask that, because, guys, this episode will eclipse the 10,000 views for us total. We're getting about 2,500 views, guys, on this. You guys are watching it, so enjoy it. Help us out. Help Greg start his second career as an accomplished podcaster, digital show creator, all of those things. Also,
even had my mom watching the other day, which that was a surprise. But
hey, my mom watches this show because I've tamed the tongue. So
she gave me a hard time about my cat, and so I'd lock that cat up. I wouldn't lie. And again, since that's where I'm at, my mom's tonight, so no cat pictures for you tonight.
No cat pictures. I noticed the different curtains.
Yeah, different venue tonight. So
yeah,
on the road.
And thanks to Kohl Franklin for coming on and making the first half of the show a lot of fun. Good luck on that, guys. It is opening day for minor league teams. I'm sure if you're not in the Chicago area, there is a minor league team within driving distance. It is time to get that summertime started. If you guys are looking, hit us up on here. I can tell you some great things, especially with the Cubs fans in Oklahoma. Guys, let's meet up. Let's hang out. Let's go to Savastano's. That's going to be the official place of Holy Cow. So, guys, until next week, remember, don't give up just yet. Memorial Day, you can give up. Okay, that's. We're going to Memorial Day.
It's the 4th of July, or even the All-Star break, but we'll just play them one at a time, go a week at a time, and we'll see what happens.
Right? So, guys, remember that Cubbies blue, and always go Cubs go. We'll see you next week.
Adios.